This is live with Miami's Community News, and I'm Michael Miller. Special guest today is Leroy. Joins with you're the executive director of the Neighbors and Neighbors Association.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can call me anything you want,
Okay.
except for don't call me late for
Late
dinner.
for dinner, right?
All right.
Gotcha.
See, only a
Right,
few of
right,
us remember
right.
that.
I remember that.
Right. So first, tell us about number one, how you wound up in Savannah, Georgia, how your folks wound up there, and how you wound up coming down here to Miami.
So I was actually born in Savannah, Georgia. A lot of people don't know that. They think I was born in Miami, but I was actually born in Savannah. My grandmother moved down here first, and she had got a job at St. John's Church in Overtown. And a year later, she sent for my mother to come, and me and my siblings lived with my aunt in Savannah until my mother got settled, and then my grandmother and my mother all sent for my siblings and myself, my cousins and my aunt,
and you
and
were
all of us
staying
came
with your
down.
aunt. Did your
Yeah,
aunt come down?
all us came down together with my aunt.
And should we ask what year that was, more or less?
I was 9, 10 years old.
All right.
So it was in the 70s.
So you come down here. Miami is in turmoil.
Right.
Right.
We come down here, and we moved in Overtown. Overtown was rough then. It
Yep.
looks nothing like it looks now.
Yes.
It was a different place.
So Overtown and Liberty City.
Yes. So
and so tell us about your schooling and what got you into the Neighbors and Neighbors Association. What was the driving force there?
So after we moved from Overtown, we moved to Larchmont Projects.
Where's that?
It's
I know Grant knows, but I don't know.
It's off of 83rd Street and 5th Avenue.
Okay.
It's the water separates it from Miami Shores.
Okay.
Right. So we moved to the projects, and I can tell you the day that I came home from school when we realized we was gonna move, I never seen my mom that happy in her life that we was moving to the projects. So I didn't know what projects was. So her and my uncle packed us all up to go see our big house. And we get to the house. It's a 2-story duplex, 5 bedrooms, a bath and a half. And I had my own room now because when we lived in Overtown, my first room in Overtown was the kitchen. I slept in the kitchen on the floor. We moved on the 3rd floor. Then we moved to 2nd, then the 1st floor. But anyway, we moved in Larchmont Projects. I never seen my mom that happy in her life. And I didn't realize later that we was moving to public housing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the projects.
So what did that mean to you?
So it was a new experience because I came from Georgia. So a lot of things I didn't know or understood, it was thrust on me immediately, So things I'd never seen before, never seen people interact with, was very new to me. And so I didn't have any older brothers. I got one sister older than me, and all of us was fresh from Georgia. And so we knew nothing about the big city in Miami until we got here. And then we moved to public housing, to the projects. Like it was different. It was different.
How so?
It was a lot of cluster, a lot of people together, but I can tell you that I wouldn't trade that experience, because living in public housing, to me, and it has a different effect to everybody else, to me, it made me tough, and it made me aware of a lot of things, how differently cultural people were, but in the projects where I live, it was African Americans and Puerto Ricans. So we had a lot of Puerto Ricans that lived in public housing with us.
So how did that affect your life after you left there?
So I immediately left public housing early. I caught on really quickly, right? I caught on how life was really quickly. So of course my life took a turn from the way it shouldn't have turned. So I ended up hanging on street corners, doing things I had no business doing. Didn't really have the guidance that I needed, but I had the love that I desired from the community that I grew up in.
So how long were you doing stuff you shouldn't have been doing?
Probably till I got into my 20s.
And what was the turning point when you said, "Oops, I better change"?
So my mom was a turning point. She reminded me one day. She said, "You remember one day when you came home from school and I asked you why all those big boys was waiting for you after school?" And I said, "Yeah, I want to say I was about 12 at the time." She had this conversation with me when I got in my 20s. She said, "You know what? All them boys used to wait for you after school." And I said, "Yeah, mama." I said, "We used to go play ball and night." She said, "Nah, y'all wasn't playing ball. Y'all probably was playing ball, but y'all was doing other stuff that wasn't right. So it was more than playing ball." But she said to me, she said, "The reason why those boys used to come and wait for you, because you had more common sense than them." She said, "Yeah, they can play sports better than you, they can fight better than you, but they can't outthink you." She said, "You a thinker, Leroy." She said, "And when you realize that a lot of people look up to you and a lot of people follow you, and you may not know that because of the questions they'll say, 'Ain't that's right, Leroy? Huh, Leroy?'" She said they do that because they want you to give them approval or not of what they're doing. And so my mom told me that. She reminded me of that day, and I remembered it. And she said, "When you realize that, then you're gonna be a great leader one day."
So when point did you go, "Oh yeah, my mama told me that a while ago"? How old were you started
I
incorporating
was
that?
I was getting out of prison, and she threw that in my face again, and it dawned on me. And when I came home, her and my sister both convinced me to come and run our family grocery store. And I want to say I was 29 then, 29, 30. And I didn't have no interest in working in a grocery store because I watched them sit in the store 12, 15, 16, 17 hours a day, 7 days a week. And to me, I was a street guy. I was a street kid. So to me, to be in one place in a building all day, I couldn't do that. But
And how long were you in prison?
when I got out the second time, I did 2 years that time.
And the first time?
Um, Pretty much the same much time.
You care to share what it was for?
Well, it was for drugs one time, and for burglary one time.
So you get out of prison the second go around. How much time was there between getting out of finishing the first term and starting the second one? How much time?
Probably 5 years.
So there you are on this 5-year hiatus. During that 5 years, were you involved in stupid stuff?
I know. I was actually getting my life together. Yeah, I was getting my life together.
So at some point you said, "Okay, I'm done with that. I'm going to lead this straight and narrow life." So tell us about
I
that.
went to go work in my family grocery store.
So there you were working how many hours a day?
Same many hours that I
Just
told
like
them.
your folks.
Yeah.
I can't see you ever doing that, and there you were. All right, every day.
So they convinced me that I could run this store without
And where
any
was the
experience.
store?
It was in Liberty City on 40th Street and 17th Avenue.
40th Street, 17th Avenue.
Right by the 112 Expressway.
Yeah. So, where was was it Miami? Not Miami. What schools on 36th Street?
So you got Jackson.
Jackson. And what avenue was that?
17th Avenue.
Oh, so it's right near there.
Yeah.
So my father worked for WEDR and WMIE right on 36th
right on
Street.
there. Okay.
When I was a little kid. So
I remember when it was there.
All right.
Yeah.
He used to go over there and send me over, get coffee at the Royal Castle over there. There was a pet store over there. So I remember the area very well. By the way, so my father brought in ponies for a pony ride right there at Jackson.
Okay.
I'm bringing in African Americans to ride ponies, which drove everybody completely crazy.
Okay.
But there's black people over there.
Right,
Who do they think they are in our town?
Right.
All right. So Gren and I learned early to try to wear rose-colored glasses so that we're not negatively impacted. By the way, he took me to, it was either Jacksonville or St. Augustine when I was in sixth, seventh grade to watch the marches that were going on. I learned a lot about humankind and about people, the good people and the not so good people. So there, you're working the store. Probably was in your store.
I'm working a store. I'm changing.
What year is that? More or less. More or less. Try to think that far back, Leroy.
It was 30 years ago, 29, 30 years ago.
All right.
Yeah.
So there you are. You work in the store,
Yes.
and you go, all right. There, you're making a living. Your folks are going, way to go, Leroy! Congratulations. So how did you get into this point about being able to give back?
Oh, wow. So all at once. So this one experience I had, some of the youth that lived around the store, they came to the store and they was telling me and my sister how the city of Miami had recently closed down the pool that they built at the Charles Hadley Park. And uh, after doing a little research, I realized that they closed down the Jose Marti's pool at the same time. That was around the time when it was like 60 something $million missing from the city or misspent through, it was a city manager, Odio at that time. And they was making changes in the city of how they was going to, because they was having a shortfall in the budget. And some of the youth came around to the store and started telling me about it. So me and my sister had a conversation about it, and we decided to organize the people in the neighborhood and take them to City Hall about it.
How did you go from I'm just minding my business? I spent 2 stints in prison, and here I am working in my family business, and now all of a sudden you want to like show City Hall, hey, we need some help.
Right. So I don't know. I guess the people in the community just saw the leadership abilities in me, to bring that to my attention, because they watched me organize the young guys that lived in the neighborhood, organizing them, So I guess they saw that leadership ability, so they came. So we took them down to City Hall. The same night, they voted to open both of the pools back up, and I got the keys to the parks.
And tell me
the
what
same night.
Tell me what you said to your mother that night.
What she said to me.
What she said to you.
Yeah,
Right?
she was like, I told you, you amazing. That's what she was telling me. Like, you're amazing. I told you. So she kept saying, I told you. People look up to you.
So what is it about us that when other people tell us it, sometimes it goes into our brain, and then when you have to call on it, or whether it's conscious or unconscious or subconscious, it's like, yes, we're grabbing that. So when you were doing that, and the people you get putting those people together, and they said, Leroy, we believe in you. Here's the stuff we can't or don't want to do it, but you can do it. What was that like when you saw that they were thinking very positively of you?
So it was amazing. So it what it did subconsciously and consciously for me was like amazing, because I knew I always had leadership abilities, but I never knew that people cared about my abilities that much until I started being more involved in doing things that was very positive. So that was a very positive move, and to realize what that did for that community, for us to come back the same night with the keys to the pool, and have the city commissions tell everybody, we want everything fixed at this pool. Mr. Jones is going to come there and check everything. So imagine what that did.
And they called
me,
Mr. Jones, and you got finally
to me and the young people that lived, and they call it the area's the 40s. So that area where my family still at, they call it the 40s. So imagine what that did for me and those people. That was a victory. That was a win.
So let's think about all those little kids that are out there now, that all they need is a pat on the back and say, you can do this, right? So I know that's one of the things that you're giving back.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Neighbors and Neighbors, right?
Yeah.
Association. Tell us what you do and what it does.
So Neighbors and Neighbors Association was actually founded in my family grocery store. So as I'm organizing the store, now we painting the store. It looks more pretty. Now it's more stuff on the shelves. Now we got central air. Now we move the store into the old paint body shop that's connected to the store, because it's bigger. And where the store was, we turned that to a game room. And so now we got money in the bank, and we looking good. And the people in the community, the business owners in the community, my sister and my mom would tell me that they would ask them, wow, what you did to your store? Like, man, look how store you
got my son involved.
And they would say, yeah, that was my sister say, well, my brother did. And someone say, well, your brother, you got a brother? She say, well, we ain't never seen your brother. She say, because he been in prison, but he home helping us at the store now. And one day, I know the number, 11 business owners came to the store on a Sunday and asked me to start organizing and create an organization to help small Black businesses, and that birthed N.A.N.A.
Wow. And at that point, you were feeling pretty confident about your abilities. You had the support of a lot of people.
Right.
People would pat you on the back and say yes, and then you bought that key.
Right.
Right. Where's that key now? Do you know where it is?
I don't know. So that been 30 years ago almost.
One day you're gonna find it.
One day I'm gonna look.
And you're gonna put it up on that wall.
And you got to remember now, I wasn't doing it because I wanted to be an activist or I wanted to keep documentation. I was doing it because the people in the community asked me and had confidence that I could do it. And I wasn't looking at this being a long-term thing. You know, that was just something that, you know, it was a fly-by-night, I thought.
So in each community, and because there are many communities, we're under this big community, but many different areas of town, there's so much leadership that is needed.
Mm-hmm.
So you've been leading now for a long time.
Yes.
So tell us about the people in the organization that assist in moving this stuff, and how you figure out the things that you need to promote.
So it's funny that at the very beginning, we had a couple of younger people that was in a group that had business owners, but we had more people of age in the group that in most cases was very successful in running businesses with the knowledge that they had, right? And a lot of them sent their children to college from those same small businesses in Overtown, in Liberty City, in Coconut Grove. So by the second year, N.A.N.A comes around, we got businesses from Bell Shortstop and Paran that's a part of N.A.N.A. You know, we got Jackson Soul Food owner, Mr. Jackson, a board member of N.A.N.A. And so N.A.N.A is growing with leadership of people that been running and managing businesses since they was young, that are now still around running those same businesses or doing better, you know? And so I think it was the confidence, because I wasn't alone, right? At first I didn't see it, but when they told me and showed me that I was capable of leading, when they voted and made me the president of N.A.N.A, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't even know how to spell president. I whispered in my sister's ear and I said, she said, well, they made you the president. I said, well, how you spell president? And we talked about that. And then when the county say, well, you need a CEO or you need an executive director to run this organization, you know, that do the day-to-day, and they say, well, we need the executive director. We're gonna make you the executive director. And my sister whispered in my ear and say, now you gotta learn how to spell executive director. And we talk about that. And those some things that I never forget. So I'm at this point because of those very first businesses, like Moore's Grocery, like Bradley's Grocery, like Ebo's, Jackson Soul Food, Bell Shortstop, Juggler's Market, Nelson's Restaurant and Grocery Store. You know, those business owners,
they believed in you.
They believe, and they know I was fresh home from prison, but they believed in me. And because of that, I'm where I'm at now.
So do you think they were giving you a chance, say, this is your opportunity now? Did they ever state that, or did you ever feel that from them?
You know what? I don't think they seen it as if they was giving me a chance. I thought I'm sure they seen it as if that I could do it. That because of my zeal and my personality, and that because I was fresh into it, so I didn't bring those years of experience that they brought. I had a fresh eye to it that was missing, that I brought to the table, and that's the reason why. And I'm gonna tell you, like, there's no way that I could repay them or match the confidence that they gave me. Because when I look at, here's an example. Because of a county commissioner, Ari Shula, believing in my work with the small businesses, She allowed me to create the Mom and Pop Small Business Grant Program. That program,
Is that right?
that program been around for 25 years.
Wow.
And it's it's an official government program
Yes.
that was created by a nonprofit discreet guy. That is an official government program for all 13 county commission districts. How many people can say that?
Well, first of all, very few people are aware of that. So congratulations
Thank you.
on doing that. And it really is, in fact, over the years, I mean, thousands of people have been impacted by that.
I will be safe. It'll be safe to say probably over 20,000 contracts been executed because of that one program over the 25 years.
So your mother must be pretty proud that she was
man.
able to do that. And she would find out all these things, especially now when you point that out, that it affected so many people.
So many people. Because when you think about it, the business owners that approve for the funding, all their employees, the people who they spend the money with,
Yes,
all their employees,
absolutely.
all their families, and the people who they spend the money with. So you can't count the numbers.
Yeah.
They too big.
And it's very popular, right?
Program.
And people can apply for that. They go to
Right.
their local county commissioner.
That's
They can
right.
find out who it is. They can go to miami-dade.gov,
Right.
look up their area, and then be
Right.
the county commissioner. There'll be a date on there that they can apply.
Mhm.
Typically, those grants are, what's the amount, 5 to 10,000?
They can vary anywhere up to some districts 10,000, 7,500, 2,500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's wonderful because it impacted a lot of people. And just as important, that the children of those people that are aware of that, they're impacted. They go, what is this thing, this mom and pop?
Right.
And so it's interesting, the name that typically describes a small business, but there's something bigger in that, in this very ethereal world, which is mom and pop. I got one of them, right?
Mhm.
So it has a double meaning, or
Right.
maybe more than that,
Mhm.
right? So it really impacted a lot of people. So what are some of the things that you want to get done with N.A.N.A? What would you like to see happen?
So right now we offer 3 small business incubator sites.
Mhm.
One in Brownsville at our institute. We call it the Institute. It's a former elementary school we was fortunate enough to get the school board member, Dr. Dorothy Bendroff Mendigal, to partner with the county commission at the time, Audrey Edmondson, to lease us a school that we've been there now 8 years. And we have an incubator there. We have an incubator in Cutler Bay. We have one in Goulds, and we have one in Richmond Heights. And the services are free. Anybody can walk off the streets. We have incubator space that you can apply for. They make all the programs that we have available to any client. So anybody that walk in or have a space to come there.
And they have somebody they can talk to.
Yes. So each one of them has a manager that will assist them.
So often the small business, they're not quite sure what to do, but they have
Right.
the drive to do it. Sometimes it's just that little direction that somebody can
Right.
provide.
Right.
So the county now has started Strive 305, which I think has been around for a while,
Mhm.
and their mission is to connect to a lot of local businesses.
Mhm.
So I see that the county's finally elevated that conversation
Okay.
to help, and
Okay.
certainly the model that you have certainly sort of helped make this happen.
Yeah.
And I say Manny Sid, who's heading it up, former mayor of Miami Lakes, who ran for county commission.
Mhm.
And so interesting enough that Mayor Cava hired him, and they have a whole team
Mhm.
that's really promoting small businesses.
Right.
What do people have to do? If somebody needs to reach you, what's the best way for them to
So
reach
they can call our main office at 305-756-0605. Again, our main office is 305-756-0605, and they can connect you to any one of our
Can they talk
satellite.
to you?
And they can, of course.
All right.
Of
We want
course.
to make sure.
And I give everybody my cell phone number.
Okay.
So they can call me directly at 786-426-6263.
And you've done this before, I
of
can
course. And I want to add this. If you go back 30 years ago and look at any local government in Dade County and see if they had any programs that they was offering to small businesses at that time, it was minute. When N.A.N.A came, N.A.N.A changed the game. Now you can see government departments and organizations offering grant programs now, like the Mom and Pop, where they're mimicking off the Mom and Pop grant program. You can see commercial revitalization funding now being given to small businesses through government departments, other nonprofit agencies, and colleges. And let's take the CRA for example. Now, N.A.N.A has been successful recently in securing all the grant programs for the 7th Avenue CRA and the 79th Street CRA. Each one of those
You guys did that?
CRAs, each one of those CRAs has 3 different grant programs that you can apply for up to $100,000 if you want to move in those areas, $75,000 if you want to renovate your building, and $10,000 if you want to buy equipment on 7th Avenue and 79th Street CRA.
7th Avenue for how? What's the range?
From 7th Avenue to 119th on both sides of the street, from 79th Street and 7th Avenue all the way up to 119th on both sides. Then it skips because from 119th to 135th is North Miami. This is a county program. Then it picks back up on 135th on the west side and goes all the way up to the Cloverleaf. And then it picks up on 141st and go all the way up.
I see that in, I think it's Miami Gardens, 194th and 7th Avenue there. One of the big shopping malls over there was
So they
purchased by an African American.
Right.
Brandon and I grew up in that area, right in the exit Norla, 194th and 7th Court. So it was nice to be able to see this, where people, little kids can look and say, I can be like that. I can do that. There's hope for me to do that. And I think it's important that people of all colors and all sizes and shapes can see people that are successful, so that they don't have to say, well, because they're this or they're that, they're tall or short or orange or green, that they made it. So the services you provide is not just for the adults. We have this future generation that's in there that's looking, where's my hope? What can I do in this community? So I'm sure you've had a lot of mentors and people that have helped you along your way. Yes. We've got a couple minutes left.
Yeah.
Could you spend a couple minutes talking about who some of those people are?
So I want to say this, that first my board and my present board that I got now is very supportive of me, right? All the board members I had throughout the years, and my staff, most, I would say all of my staff, not most, all of the staff that work for N.A.N.A, when they came in, they had no experience in doing what they're doing. They learned their craft working for N.A.N.A, which means it gave me the ability to show them the way that I thought or think or feel is the right way to do it. Instead of they coming in with that experience and baggage that I have to go back and forth with them, it allowed them to learn on the job. And I'm very grateful for my staff because they know their business. I don't have to stand over them. I don't have to hover over them. From the time they come in to the time they leave, they're working. They love their job. I want to say that. And every government department that has ever supported me, because remember, I came out of prison doing this. So it wasn't easy. I remember that the Herald did a story about me. They saying, well, this is 3 up and coming leaders in the black community, but did you know he been to prison for this and this and this? And some people was calling me and say, oh, Leroy, man, that was a good story, but look how they try to kill you at the end. But I wasn't embarrassed about it because the community already knew the type of person I was, and they embraced me. And so all the government departments, from the county departments, the city departments, the CRAs, board members and staff that believe in my ability. And I'm going to say, nobody gave me nothing. I participated in the process like everybody else. And because our applications was good and we scored high, we was funded. So forget about my background. I did the job. It wasn't a hand me to get this poor boy or this boy that done made mistakes, give him a chance. I worked hard to be where I'm at.
We have in the 2 minutes we have left. So what I hope is that people that have made some mistakes, that have been in prison for whatever that were, they can look to you and say, hey, this guy, this is what happened. And one day he saw the light, and he'd be able not just to be successful, but to contribute to the community in a bigger way. Right. And as we get along in life, you start realizing those little children are watching us, right? We may not know it, but they for sure are watching all the people, the children of the people that are on your staff. They're looking at your whole staff and yourself. Hey, there's a place for us in this big world there.
So, I want to say this, that I never shied away from my mistakes or my past, right? And I think that was the plus to me because I didn't go hide in a corner or I wasn't embarrassed about people talking about it. But because I dealt with it head first up front, then people accepted me more because guess what? I don't care what color you is. I don't care where you live at. It's somebody in your family done did something they ain't got no business doing, right? And everybody can support that. Everybody like an underdog sooner or later. So everybody can relate to me. Even if it ain't them, they got a sister or cousin or uncle that been where I've been that can relate to it, that they want to see them get another chance. And that's why I got another chance.
And I think as human beings, we're very forgiving. And as you get older, you go, well, of course. Look at all the mistakes we have each made. So Leroy joins you. You are a star, right, and a shining light.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, brother.
Leroy joins. Thanks so much. We're going to look at the red camera, and we're going to say, folks, thank you very much for joining us. And Amber, thank you for producing the show. Remember, folks, take care of yourselves and your family. Have a good day.